Following a password-protected login, the user goes to this page here, which we call the lookup page, where they can search the number, street address. They can also see the listing of all the buildings, which buildings have hazardous materials before they even open the pre-plan, the address information, etc. When the responder is going to a building, they can press right on here for the Cudahy Science Hall. The system is built with touchscreen access, so they can actually press on here with their finger. They can note that there's hazardous materials. They can see the address, the secondary address, etc. And pressing right on that brings up the pre-plan itself. What we call the command summary page is this page here, which constitutes 80 to 90% of the information, pre-plan information that a responder needs to be effective. It begins up at the top with the address information, secondary names of the property or corporate names. Beneath that is the caution warning information, letting the responder know that there's difficult street access and they should see the map. There's also a domed roof. That's an abandoned observatory. There is hazardous materials, glycol in the basement, and solar paneling on the south roof. Again, touchscreen access provides the responders with the ability to open up exterior shots of the property and a map of some kind, and it's in the thumbnails section. We recommend that building owners and managers or security add an aerial map or an elevated shot of some kind and an exterior shot. The assumption always is that the responders are not familiar with the building. What CommandScope can do is not only can it provide those local responders, but also you can share this information with their mutual and automatic aid in case of a larger scale incident. Beneath the thumbnails is the building information, the structure type, the property use, the status, height, size, whether or not there's lightweight construction, the floor type, roof type, access, construction type, and exposures. On the right-hand quadrant here is the fire protection detail, which has the warning alarms, the detectors, the standpipe location, the closest hydrant to the front door, and then the suppression type. Beneath that is the utility shutoffs for gas, electric, and water, which is obviously also very helpful for on-site security and facilities management. Beneath that's the location of the fire alarm control panel, or FACP, and any key boxes. To the right here are the floor plan buttons. CommandScope can accommodate any number of floors. We've got 1- and 2-story buildings in the system, in addition to 100-story buildings like the John Hancock Center here in Chicago. Pressing right on the basement button, which has noted that there are hazardous materials located there, the user or the responder can see that floor plan. If the incident's on the 4th floor, they press with their finger the 4 button to open up that 4th floor plan. Above that, you see the hazardous material diamond. Pressing right on there takes the user to the hazmat page where they can see the fire, health, reactivity, and special, the above and below ground tank information, scrolling down the list of hazardous materials and quantities, the potential decon facilities on site, the risk frequency, likelihood, and consequence. Pressing command summary takes the user back to the home page where they can see that everything is dated and timestamped for accountability. The user also can interface with outside programs like mapping software and IP-based camera systems. It's important to note that all the information that you're seeing in CommandScope, those floor plans, this text information, these thumbnails, they can all be accessed with or without an internet connection. The system synchronizes every hour or up to every 24 hours via the web with our servers. Our servers then push the data out to everybody who's assigned access to the account. So they get the most up-to-date information on an hourly basis. That way, everybody's responding with the same information instead of old data. But for interfaces with web-based systems, we've provided these hot links. So you can have a little camera icon right here or this mapping icon, and you can actually go right into a mapping program. The responders can go right into a mapping program, or they can go into a web-based camera system where they can actually see inside the structure before they arrive on scene. Beneath that is the real quick view, where the user can add a number of additional attachments that might also assist the responders. So in addition to the thumbnails and the floor plans, they can add material safety data sheets for glycolic acid. They can also add lists of persons with disabilities and their shelter-in-place locations. They can add additional exterior shots of the property that might help the responders. Anything that they feel might be helpful, they can drop in this section here. Populating the system or updating the system is incredibly easy and is done on these left-hand tabs. The left-hand tabs also host additional information. So pressing on location info to populate that command summary page, you just fill out the boxes. There's also drop-down boxes to make it even easier. Contact info, where the responders can see the primary key holders. So if an alarm system's going off, instead of knocking down that front door, they call William Sherry and have him, the superintendent of facilities, and have him show up and instruct them, hey, don't knock down that front door of that building. We'll be there to let you inside shortly. There's also the building info on this tab with drop-down boxes making populating even easier. The building details with short answer, hours of operation over here. Hazardous materials, which we went over. Water supply, which has the hydrant ID, the location, the distance from the front door, the gallons per minute, and the Latin launch if available. We've also included a National Fire Academy fire flow calculator for use by the first responders so they can tabulate their fire flow required. Sketches and images is a really handy feature that allows the user to annotate existing documentation. What they can do is, if, say, they have a map where they want to identify the building on an aerial map, they can do it in a variety of different shapes and colors. If they have an architectural floor plan that doesn't have the fire alarm control panel noted on it, they can use a tablet with a stylus and note that right on there. Or they can simply do it with their mouse and using shapes and colors that are provided here. The attachments section is where the user adds those floor plans and the real quick view and the thumbnail tabs by browsing on their hard drive or their shared network drive. They select the files and they go down to this table here where they can see, the user can see the file type, the name, the show order, the floor number, and how current that data is, how current that document is. When they've created the pre-plan and they've got all this information in the system, they then synchronize by pressing the start button or letting the timers in the system go off so that they'll synchronize with our servers. Following this synchronization, our servers have the most up-to-date data in the system and then systematically push that out to everybody who has access to the building information for Cudahy Science Hall. That can include the local fire team, their mutual and automatic aid. It can include law enforcement. It can include on-site security or contract security teams. It can include SWAT teams. It can include hazardous material safety teams, regional or urban search and rescue teams. It's really up to the client. The important thing is, and this is exactly what CommandScope provides, is the ability to share the information about your building with the responders who need it, providing them access to the critical building information they need when they need it.